Okay, enough about Fulcrum. Let's take a look at what we're doing right now, and there seems to be a movement and back and forth geek of my own units. Yeah, so let's take a look at the upgrades here, and my upgrades I already have +1 attack upgrade for my Marines and Marauders. But at the same time, if you take a look at Sharknice's his mechanical army, the mech army, he is already upgrading his vehicle weapons +2, and also the armor as well. So his mech army is always in, like, it's actually in better quality than my army at the moment. But hopefully, in terms of macro, let's take a look at our macros. And if you take a look at the unit scheme right over here, I have way more units. I should have way more units than the Terran himself. He only has 14 Hellions, 1 Thor, and a siege tank versus 22 Marauders and 14 Marines. So in terms of army size, I don't think there's a big difference between Ender and myself combined in comparison with their army. And there seems to be a little muta harass going on over here. And mutas are always a good call to go, because mutas will definitely harass the hell out of Terrans. And it seems to me that they're falling back, and God knows where they're going, and it seems to me they're going to be harassing Ender once again. And smart call to go after reactors, because reactor takes such a long time to build. So it's actually the same timing as building 1 barracks. So it's always smart to go after the reactor. And we have a random Viking just shooting at the dropships. And I guess this is just the cover support for the mutas, not that they need any. And they're actually going after the SCVs once again, and Ender is just taking it up the ass this game, because all the other players is taking up the ass this game, because he lost so many SCVs. And if you take a look at the units lost count, if you take a look at Ender's units lost count, he lost one of the most. He basically lost most units in this game, and most Model Vs were lost. So we have a giant muta force just forming, and Sharknice has actually, I believe it's gorillanice, I'm sorry, gorillanice has actually built up a decent sized muta force, and we couldn't take this any longer, so we are actually going for a counter, and we're going to take out this roach army hopefully. And if this happens, then we could take the other team on 2 versus 2, but unfortunately the infestors have come out, and the fungal growth are just destroying the Marine Marauder army. And like always, I always say fungal growth is one of the best spells in this game. And these siege tanks need to be sieging so that it could take care of the banelings, but they're not. The very big micro miss from me, and these banelings are just like running through the. Basically, I lost 1/3 of my army because of the banelings right here. So hopefully we did win out this battle, but we need to take out Teal. That is the other thing we need to do. And these mutas are not. They're probably not going to be doing much, because we have around 12 medevacs and enough Marines to take on this many mutas. So Teal is actually going to get cleaned up here, and this spawning pool, after 20 minutes of not dying, is finally going to die. Hopefully, it's going to die. Yes, it is. And the broodlings pop out, signaling that it has died. And this base, GANTS is going to lose all his tech structures, and the other 2 players cannot do anything about it. So make sure to take out this infestation pit, because if he continues to build infestors, then it's not a good news for us. So Muta's trying to harass the medevacs, trying to grab 1 or 2 before they go, and this was actually fruitful, because they did not lose any mutas. So right now it will be a good call to retreat, fall back, and lick our wounds, and go for another attack. So we have these mutas here trying to pick off these stray units that have deviated from the main ball, but we have a red Terran coming down, so this actually signals us to push, because the siege tanks are out of position and they're just seizing in now. So this is actually happening while, meanwhile, my own forces down the middle is coming through with 3 medevacs and a group of Marine and Marauder forces. So by dispersing the siege tank bombardment, we are actually able to take care of these siege tanks. If we were all together, we might not have been able to taken out those siege tanks. So I have my own siege tanks shooting at the gorillanice's expansion. Oh, try to get all these. We need to get all of these drones, and we get probably half of these drones. Just good enough. These siege tanks have around 20 kills in total, and the gorillanice's expansion will go down. And while this is going on, sharknice is trying to set up with siege tanks, and unfortunately he doesn't have any chunk blockers to protect his siege tanks from just having marauders run into them. So Teal's expansion right over here, which has became his main, is going to go down as well because they have no units right now. They have no offensive units. Red only has 1 Thor, 1 Viking, 1 siege tank, and 8 Hellions. They're not gonna do much against the Marine Marauder army of this side. And actually, one hope is blue gorillanice going 28 mutas. 28 mutas will definitely own this army right over here. So this army is going to get cleaned up. Hopefully you can save some medevacs, because if you don't save some medevacs, we're going to be in big trouble. Big trouble. But it seems to me that most of our medevacs will be picked off, and Ender has decided to expand onto Teal's old natural. And I'm actually trying to expand onto Fulcrum's old base, but unfortunately, as you can see, sharknice has expanded onto it with a Hellion bodyguard right over here. So at the moment, our timing is to expand and defend off against this muta attack, but we're unable to do so because of the poor positioning of our own armies to get to the Fulcrum's old expansion, which is right over here, where the red is. And I cannot expand, and in order for me to win this game, I need to expand or win a big army fight. And we have this these marines chasing down these mutas, and hopefully we could trap these mutas because we have Ender's Marine Marauder force coming out from the top, my own Marines and Marines coming from the bottom. So hopefully we can trap them on this depleted high yield resource area. So this is this area is basically worthless to Ender right now, other than the fact that they have supply depots here. But besides that, we have absolutely no use for this expansion, and hopefully we could have enough units to clear out these mutas, or actually do devastating damage to this muta number count, so that they are less of a threat. So we have Marines coming in, try to push the herd of mutas upwards, and we have Ender here moving down from the top, from the north, trying to flank some mutas and trying to intercept some mutas, I mean. And he lost a lot of mutas in that confrontation, and it seems to me that he has around 12 mutas left from 30 mutas. So he lost 18 mutas in that, basically he lost it for no reason, in my opinion, because this high yield expansion is, like I said before, it's basically a ghost town for Ender. So we have here that sharknice's Hellion siege tank forces are moving into Fulcrum's backdoor, and excuse me, once again Fulcrum's backdoor and his entire base, his new base, is going to get taken care of. This is a very rough game for this guy. Usually he really doesn't have these kind of games, but today is, and hopefully he could get some infestors out before his hatchery or lair gets completely taken out. So we have armies that are separated here. We have Ender's army and my army separated here. So right now I think it would be a good thing for our armies to combine our strengths and try to retake basically their expansions, take their expansions, kill their expansions, and at the same time try to acquire an expansion of our own. And this will be very, very difficult in order to get these siege tanks up in the cliff over here. And what Fulcrum's doing is throwing a infested Terran egg on top of the siege tanks, so that siege tanks can get damaged, get splash damage by other siege tanks, which is a smart call. So this siege tank gets taken out by the infested marine tank. What? Infested marine egg. Goodness, that was so tough. Very, very tough. Tongue-tied to the max. And I'm actually pinging onto Blue's expansion right over here, his natural. And we had enough. We cannot take this. We cannot defend against the Hellion siege tank assault. So we have to go after the expansions of Zergs and hopefully the Terran himself. So we have some investors in the army composition with one Thor in case any mutas come and try to harass this group. So we're basically muta proof at the moment, but we are not siege tank proof. So hopefully that we could take out this expansion one more time, and we managed to take out gorillanice's expansion one more time, and we are taking out GANTS' expansion yet again. So we have temporarily a 2 versus 1 at the moment, but sharknice, he has his economy is booming. He has 5,000 minerals with 800 gas. It seems to me that he has a mech build, so he's not really spending his minerals that much. However, he needs to spend his minerals in some way or form so that he's not wasting his money. Maybe give it to blue so that blue can produce mass amount of lings. And lings are very cheap, and there's so many. You can build so many of them, and this is also very good. And this is also this is another mistake that we have done. And we shouldn't have went after this expansion at all, because this is actually, he has nothing there other than gassing his units gassing. So there's nothing to gain here. We need to get out of here. We need to go after the backbone of this economy, which is over here and over here. But this is going to be tough with siege tanks setting up on top of a cliff with Hellions. So while this is all going on, they decide to destroy all of Ender's base, and Ender has no choice but to float out, and I have no choice but to evacuate my SCVs so that we could gain a new home somewhere. But these SCVs will they're all going to die because of the fact that all these lings, these 2-1 lings, are going to take care of them. So we have a little skirmish going on here with siege tanks shooting at this army, and this army has been whittled down to maybe a group and 2 siege tanks and a Thor, so it's not that big of a group. Hopefully, if you could somehow hold out and build some units off these barracks, then we could have some hope of some sort of a drop play from medevacs, or just a total economic recovery. But this is unlikely because of this huge muta force and this huge 53 lings. So these lings are just moving out, taking care, cleaning up after themselves, cleaning up our bases, and this is going to be very rough. And this is going to be I have to say goodbye to my old base, and we have to move to a new one. So we have siege tanks slowly pushing up, try to aim at the production facilities at the moment, but the Thor's taking the brunt of the damage, and Fulcrum has decided to employ the same tactics by throwing one infested Terran at a time. And infested Terran do a lot of damage because they basically have no cooldown in their attack. They do 8 damage, but it's 8 damage almost continuous damage. So infested Terran, I believe that there's this one point where people would just build like 6 to 8 infestors, research burrow, and they will burrow all the way to someone's base and spread like infested Terrans everywhere, and that will just lead to CCs being destroyed, production facilities being destroyed, all of SCVs being destroyed. So we have a small pressure here going on, but this is not going to be enough to overtake the space, because we really don't have enough units, and we cannot lose any more units at the moment because we have no production facilities. Ender has his expansion right over here, which is his CC is strangely far from his mineral patch, but then again he has no production facilities, so it doesn't really matter. So we have Blue actually expanding onto Fulcrum's old new base, and this is going to definitely revive his economic. Basically, he's gonna revive him economically. And we have a very small Ender Spores moving into Blue's base, and I am not sure what he's gonna be gaining out of this, because he really doesn't have many units to defend against the mutas, and the lings are just moving towards him right now. The speed is down, but the lings are actually coming to destroy Ender's base right over here, and the mutas will be enough to take care of this small force, while I am trying to recover right over here. And these investors could have came and helped these guys out, and if you could somehow take out these mutas, then it would have done wonders. And one of the things that I advise when you're playing 3-on-3, the same as 2-on-2, that if one partner is attacking, make sure the other partner is paying attention, or at least the other partner is doing something else instead of just sitting there doing nothing. I should have been supporting him with what's it called? Medevacs or Thors, pick my Thors up and try to help them out, because like I said, we cannot lose those units, but we're right at the moment we're on tilt because we're about to lose